Hello, guys, and welcome to another podcast here of Spobits.com, a website which analyzes games tactically and statistically around the game. So, today we are here to analyze the third Magellan Ashes Test match between Australia and England, in which Australia defeated England by an innings and 41 runs to regain the Ashes urn after 4 long years. It's been quite a one-sided test series so far, with the English team folding over every time after picking up some very good positions in test matches, especially in the second and the third test match, the first innings of this test match also at the end of day one, but they folded in the rest of the days. So we will be analyzing today the test match today with the cricket analyst Mushir Ahmed from France. Hello, Mushir.
Hi, Ms. Khan. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. Okay. So, what are your thoughts, just overall thoughts about the game, Mushir?
Yeah, the overall thoughts about this game is that England started very well, which was unexpected in Perth,
Yes,
given
yes.
their facility with the batting and the overcritical analysis of David Malan, which we did also in our last podcast.
Yes, yes.
They did very good till day one, and then from there they just lost their control of the match, which is the story of this English side in
Right,
this
right.
Ashes. They
Right,
have
right.
a good day, a good session, and then they just never capitalize on this. Because if they see I think at the end of day one they were like 364.
Yeah,
And if
305 for 4, yeah.
yeah, I think something like this. And if they would have added like 100, at least 100 more, or 150, it should be 150.
Yes.
Because you still have batting after 4 wickets. You have Moeen Ali, Vokes, and Prod, and Overton who can bat.
Yes.
You could have added like maybe 100 to 120 at least more.
Right.
Things would have been very different. Maybe you would have kept Australian bowler more on the field, Australian player more on the field, frustrated them,
Yes, right, right.
tired them down, and then you can have a go on the top order with a good amount of run to back you up.
Yes.
But again,
Yes.
you just lost everything in 400. You gave Australians a whiff, even though I think Overton is struck twice in quick succession to remove Warner and the Australian opener.
Yes.
But after that, again, the same story continues. Why English bowler are not why they can't get rid of Stephen Smith is a riddle for me. Because see, Ms. Gan, honestly, I
Yes.
don't find Smith as a very technically sound batsman. He
Yes,
moves around his crease very much. Don't you think so?
Yeah, yeah. I have noticed his batting. Many pundits and all those statisticians and analysts have said, and I also have recognized he doesn't have a technically sound technique, to be honest, to be very perfectly honest. But he has that unusual technique which puts the bowler off. He moves across the crease like not like Kevin Peterson. Kevin Peterson also tended to move around the crease, which puts the bowler off. He's not like Kevin Peterson. He's more like Chandra Paul, and like when Chandra Paul tries to maneuver in his crease. So the bowlers are not sure whether to bowl a middle stump line or off stump line, because if the ball outside the off stump, it is his middle stump, so he can whip it away. So bowlers are confused whether to which line to bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, this is there, but for a fact to our viewers, I would just like to point out, I think Smith started not as a very specialist batsman in the
Yes,
Australian
correct,
team.
correct. Yeah.
He was more like a leg spinner who was tended into the team and who can bat a bit. But that is the good point, or the good ability of a good cricketer that Smith has shown, that how he can enhance his talent. But still, this is not a excuse from England bowling point of view that Smith moves around his crease and we cannot get him out. I think this should be a plus point for a bowler. But the problem again is there. As soon as there is no swing in the in the bowling condition, England bowler just become flat like anything. See again, if there would be swing, if Anderson and Broad could have got the swing from the pitch, from the atmosphere by moving the ball, they could have handled Smith far better.
Yes,
than
correct.
what they are doing in the summer of Australia, where it's very, I think, dry and even the surface is not helping them. But this is cricket. This is you're playing at international level. You have to be adapted to every condition. It's, I think you are getting my point. What I'm trying to say,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it's just
I'm getting, yes.
yes, just lame bowling, lame attitude, and every time, why does this thing come in the media or in the news that whenever England travel to Australia for Ashes, they are in transition. Again, see, their batting is in so-called transition. Their
Yes,
middle
that's
order is in
correct.
transition. I think they know the calendar year much before they decide the team that there will be Ashes in 2019. They should have prepared like that. Anyway, see, the thing is that this has become a little bit of regularity that a team who is in the home, they only win the Test series. But we can recall the Ashes of, I think, 2015, in which Australia, although they lost the Ashes there, they put up a very good fight, and they at least had the 3-2, I think,
Yeah, they lost
3-2
they
loss of
lost the series by 3-2. It was very close,
yeah,
yes.
it was respectable. It's still far respectable. But do you think, honestly, that England can repeat a 3-2 here? Even there are two Test matches to save your prestige as a cricketer, as a team.
To be honest with you, I certainly don't think if they even draw both the test matches, I think the English cricketers and the English media would be happy with that also. I don't think that they are going to win test matches because I personally analyzed the three test matches and they have had their moments to win one more session and they are close to winning a test match. Like in Adelaide, they were 176 for 4, chasing 350. If the first session of day 5 would have gone in their favor, they would have won the test match. So they are always one session away, but they're not winning that session, that important session which turns the game. Like in Perth also, they were 368 for 4. And if that the second session of day 2, if they were batted more, 500 would have been scored. And 500 is very different from 400. That is an extra session for the Australians on the field. That means England have to bowl in the evening session, and evening session is always not very good for the new batsmen coming in, especially chasing 500. So England have, in my opinion, not one extra session to win this Test match, and I don't think so. They're going to repeat because the senior batsmen are not stepping up, especially Joe Root and Alastair Cook. They're having a very lean time at a very wrong time. They should not be having their lean
Yep,
patches in this
exactly.
series.
And even their bowling is not getting the same kind of impetus because Broad is looking. I think Broad should be given a rest in the next two Test matches.
Yes.
He's I think wicketless for I think in this whole Test match and
Yeah,
not effective
probably
at
3
all.
to 4 wickets throughout the whole series. That's even not good enough for even a part-timer.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe I think Root can do by changing him with Chris Wokes as an opening bowler with Anderson and bring
And
in another bowler. I think
Mark Wood.
Plunkett is there, or Mark Wood. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mark Wood. So if we just sum up the players' rating, like who would you pick as the main culprit in the batting lineup? At least two batsmen. Apart from, yeah, of course, we will directly point at Alastair Cook. He's having torrid time again. Even I think Alastair Cook is becoming sort of player who enjoys playing more at home rather than going up traveling and
Especially in the
scoring
last
runs.
2 years, I have seen that, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I think even in India, I don't remember exactly the numbers, but he struggled at times, but not like this at least. But even the last Ashes when he went to Australia, even at that time, the England team was far better than what they are today, at least on papers. Cook has struggled a lot, and see, the problem is that this is the problem England has to counter, because in Australia a good start is very much required, because Australians are very tough, mentally tough in the field when they bowl and when they field. So if you give them early wickets, they are always on song. And if you just try to demoralize them by getting a partnership of maybe like 50 to 80 or 80 to 100 as an opening partnership, you give your next batsman, the one down batsman and the later middle order, a much broader run as a backup so that they can come and capitalize on it. But if you just become like 20 for 1, which is no regularity with England opening partnership, you cannot. It's very tough to bounce back, and you cannot blame your middle order batsman every time that they are not performing, because see, it's like 100 for 4 means everyone has contributed only 25 runs in the top order.
Correct.
So how can you ask your lower middle order? A batsman is a lower middle order because he's a lower middle order because he's sort of all rounder and may not have that much of technical adaptability as a top order batsman. So the impetus of getting most runs, I think, comes from a top order batsman, especially the opener. Opener has to be the best batsman of the team, which Alastair Cook is technically, but I think his body weight is not moving forward with his head, and since he's a tall batsman, his head is going down very early onto the ball, and he's hurrying in his shot rather than putting his full weight onto the ball to drive. And most of the time he gets caught in driving the ball, either cutting or pulling. He's good at cutting and pulling, but his driving ability is getting. I think Australians have just checked this out, and they are bowling on the right spot to Alastair Cook.
Yeah, I have seen Alastair Cook's dismissal. He's not getting forward. He's getting stuck in the crease. He's expecting the short balls every time, I guess.
Yeah. You cannot expect a short ball. See, the batsmen, the bowlers have read you. You are playing cricket for 10 years, 10, 11 years. So everybody knows what your weakness is, and you have to, as a batsman who has played his 150th Test match, you have to be smart enough to get adapted to the situation. Either adjust your technique or don't try to score too quickly, because it's a Test match anyway. You don't have to hurry to get runs. Leave the balls. Frustrate the bowlers. I don't know why Alastair Cook is in a hurry to always drive through the covers every time.
Yeah, I think because he's out of form, and sometimes the out of form batsmen tend to be very susceptible, and they look to score runs to get out of that bad patch. So something he's going through that, I guess.
So do you think that England should change their opening order for last 2 Test matches at least? Maybe tinker something new. See, England will not change. Everybody knows that they are not very flexible with this thing, but they should. Do you think? Because anyway, the Test series is gone.
Yes.
Maybe give Cook some time to reflect. Reflect on his maybe future and on his technique, and bring somebody else to open the inning, maybe Moeen Ali or Gary Ballance.
Yeah, just that's the problem. England don't have the backup opener. They were very confident on Alastair Cook and Mark Stoneman. They have a backup batsman as Ben Foakes, who's a number 7 batsman. He can't open, that's for sure.
Nobody from the Lions, England Lions team also as our opener.
I don't think so. They're gonna bring any Lions player to bat or open the batting now. They can, I should say, but they had to change for this Test match, especially Mark Wood. But they didn't make any changes for this Test match as well, which was they brought the same 11 which played the Ashes Test match. So I don't think so. These things are affecting them. They are very much ready to play the same same 11 and hope for something different, especially. Alastair Cook, I will give him 2 more Test matches to revive his average or revive his Ashes series. So far he has been terrible. So if he performs well, maybe in the next Ashes, 1 year or 2 years from now, I don't know exactly when, he can do well. Otherwise, if he fails in these 2 Test matches, then I believe he will be gone. I believe he himself will reflect on his career, because if he's not contributing anything in the most important Test series for England cricket, this Ashes is it. This is the most important series in a year. It comes once or twice, once in 2 years or once in 3 years. So if he's not performing in any Test match, home or away, leave that conversation aside. Ashes test match has to be played in a very good manner, home or away. That's different. You are a senior batsman, so something if I think the team management will give him 2 more test matches, 4 more innings for him to revive himself. Let's see if he does that. Otherwise, I think the management and he will talk through it. Yeah, they have time because he doesn't play one day or T20, so he will have time from January to the next summer of England till June, I guess, to reflect upon him. So I think like he did in the captaincy issue, like post the Indian tour in January, he took time and then gave up the captaincy in the next summer. So if he doesn't perform in the last 2 test matches, I think he will review him and maybe just step down for the next summer and then come back refreshed. What do you think?
Yeah, this would be a good time for Alastair Cook to reflect on his future and maybe work on his technique, because sometimes it happens when you play, you tend to focus less on your technique and just try to get runs as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
But the thing is that now the big question for England team and Joe Root will there be like massive change that we saw after the 2013-14 series loss debacle in Ashes in Australia? Because this can give Joe Root a chance to impose his own team, his own personnel that he wants. Maybe it can start by dropping few old leg like Broad and maybe giving Moeen Ali more as a batsman rather than depending on his bowling ability.
Yeah, they are themselves confused what Moeen Ali is doing in the field. I think so.
Yeah, this is the thing that Moeen Ali himself is confused. You cannot blame him completely. You have to be mentally prepared what your role is. He bowls 33 overs. See, 33 overs is a long time, long bowling spell. But it's like 180 balls that he has to bowl during the fielding. And then again, you ask him to bat as a specialist batsman. I don't know what Moeen Ali thinks himself as an all-rounder or somebody who has to just go and tong the ball at number 8. His batting role changes so abruptly that he himself is confused that whether he has to block or he has to hit. So he's between either block or hit mode. That's confusing for him.
Yeah, and the additional thing is he's not that technically good as well, especially for bouncy or tracks like some seaming conditions. So he's like, okay, if you have flat wickets or like something, if you have to chase something in the 4th innings, 100 in 20 overs, then Moeen Ali can come and bash a few and can get you over the line. But I don't think so. He is there for a survival kind of a thing, like England have to survive 50 overs and you can bank on Moeen Ali surviving those because he's susceptible to few deliveries and he tends to get out in those deliveries, namely the bouncers, and especially against the off-spin when the off-spin is not spinning much but it is bouncing, like Nathan Lyon always gets the extra bounce in the Australian wickets.
He's getting disturbed by Nathan Lyon more than I think the bouncers. He got out against the bouncer in the first inning, I think.
Yeah.
But I think Nathan Lyon is disturbing him more, the off spin of Nathan Lyon, which is quite surprising because I think Moeen Ali is not he's not fearful of using his speed against the spinners and going after the bowler. Rather than blocking and getting out, he should maybe try to manhandle the spin bowling. Yes. I don't know, but this Indian team is in so brittle state, you cannot pinpoint on Moeen Ali or Joe Root directly. But the whole mentality has, I think, completely dipped down because this reflects how your team is mentally prepared. You are winning on first day of the test match, and then you just let it go for the next 4, and you never even tend to come back on the next 4 days. Okay, you had a bad patch on the second day when your team got out for like 35 runs, adding 35 runs to your overnight score, but you can bounce back by bowling good. That's the spirit I think they are lacking in.
Yeah, the thing you told about the wholesale changes and that transition period, I think that's coming into mind because they're not ruthless enough. See Steven Smith, he gets 200 and in his face tells me that no, he's not satisfied with it. He's going to go for the double. And when David Malan or Johnny Bairstow hit a century, in their face only it was like, okay, my 70% of job is done, and now if I get out, nobody's going to blame me. It's something like that. That ruthlessness have to come. And Trevor Bellis also pointed out that in the post match today, I heard his interview, that they have to learn. The English team has to learn the ruthlessness of Stephen Smith, Mitchell Marsh, Sean Marsh in the second test, like how to dig deep when the team is in trouble, or when the team needs you to bat big. Even though if you have scored 100 and 150, it doesn't matter. The team needs you. You have assessed the pitch. Perth is very good. You know the pitch will be a belter in the second and the third day to bat, especially in the second and third day. Fourth to fifth day it may deteriorate. That's a different story. But if you know that Australians are going to bat on the second and the third day, it will be a belter. So you bat extra. Make them at least tire them at least mentally, so that if they come out to bat, they have an extra 100-run burden for them.
Exactly.
So that ruthlessness has to come, and I don't think so there will be wholesale changes, because they already are a wholesale change team. Because the whole middle order is already changed.
You cannot expect more changes. More changes means more confusion for coach and captain. So just on a final note, Ms. Gan,
yes,
what do you expect from the Boxing Day Test match?
Yeah,
do you expect anything new, or the same result should become?
I am expecting something like a draw. I don't think so that Australia will put their feet off the pedal.
Okay, so who will be your star player from England side in the batting that he can put in, and that he can just command his batting lineup so that England can at least draw the Melbourne Test?
Yeah, the way David Malan and Jonny Bairstow batted, I think that they have done well. They have done well to adapt to the conditions, to the bounce. David Malan was almost bounced out in the first innings, but he fought through.
Just 1 minute interrupting you, sorry.
Yes.
Do you think Melbourne will be that bouncy, or it will be, I think it's little easy pace pitch, or little on the slower side?
Yeah. Correct. Melbourne, especially in the later stages, like in January one-day internationals or early February, it becomes little pacey or little slower. It starts with the pacey wicket. Sorry, it becomes slower as the summer goes on. It will be little pacey, but it will not that pacey that we have seen in Perth or in Brisbane. That's fast bounce pace. It won't be there. It will be like some kind of a lateral movement with easy paced. So if a batsman gets in, he should do well, like in Perth. So if David Malan, Jonny Bairstow, like they did in this test match, if they get in, or James Vince also, like he did in the second innings, or Mark Stoneman, these four batsmen, because I'm pointing out these four batsmen because these are the new generation. They have to take England forward, especially in Test cricket. So if they have to be more ruthless, especially in wickets like Perth, which is flat, so they weren't very ruthless. They will get a flat wicket in Melbourne, to be honest, as well. So if they bat first, anything less than 400 is again a losing score.
Yeah, because what I remember from 2014 series, the best effort, or the closest that England came to do something positive in their favor, was in Melbourne only.
Yes.
But again, they lost. When they had to take the wicket in the fourth inning of Australia, they just couldn't do that. But that's not the point here. But the thing is that I think Melbourne is the best chance for England to at least get a revival.
Yes. So that's what I was thinking. If England get this test match something rain, or if they bat well, I was expecting that if England draw this test match, they can claw their way back in Melbourne, and then the Sydney test could have been very, very interesting. But they didn't show much interest, to be honest. They just came out and just didn't show any fight. 132 for 4. I know they had 80 overs to bat. But they had to bat because the Perth the light goes off very quickly. So if you play till 6 or 6:30, you can't extend more half an hour, because there was rain around. If they would have played,
yep, there was mud, rain, and there was hopes that rain will continue.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's end this talk on a positive note for England at least.
Yes. Yeah, we expect something good in the Melbourne Test match, because the Melbourne pitch is pretty much like the oval wicket we see later in the summer. easy paced, good for batting. Like in the Oval, when we, especially England, play the fifth Test match of the Adelaide of the Ashes series, generally, it becomes like that. The easy paced wicket, little bit of lateral movement that will help Anderson, and it is good. So let's see if England can do something around in that Test match. A lot of time to ponder, still a week, so they can do.
Yeah, maybe we can do another talking on before the start of the Boxing Day, just to discuss the prospect of England separately on their prospect on next two
Yes,
Test
yeah,
matches.
yeah, we can do it. Sure, we can do. So on the last note, Mushir, just brief me out. What are the main changes you, especially if you are Joe Root, what would be the changes you will make in the Melbourne Test match? Any wholesale? Not wholesale. They won't be able to make wholesale. Any 2-3 changes or just a couple of changes?
A couple of changes, maybe like bringing in Mason Crane in place of Stuart Broad.
Yes.
And sitting out Chris Wokes and bringing in Mark Wood, because anyway, see, Mason Crane may bowl better than Chris Broad. Maybe spinner can be useful, because when Australians get going and your fast bowler tend to become very tired bowling long spells, and Moeen Ali is not the sort of bowler who can put pressure for a long time. He goes for odd boundaries or maybe some odd sixers also, because he loses his shape very quickly.
Yes, so correct.
Maybe Mason Crane and Mark Wood would be the addition. And the batting, I don't find any batsman apart from these 5, 6, 7 batsmen who are playing to be of any use by replacing any of these existing batsmen.
Yes, correct. Yeah, something they have talked about Ben Foakes, like Ben Foakes at number 7 and Bairstow at number 6, and then Moeen Ali.
I don't know. So Moeen Ali will go back to his number 8.
Yeah, they're talking about that, but that will give, that will help. That will actually help Moeen Ali. Then he will actually know his role. That okay, he's number 8. He has to focus more on bowling.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what they come with, Root and Bellis. Let's see. Okay, so Mushir, thanks a lot for the talk of the analysis of this third Test match.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, so guys, this was the analysis of the third Magellan Ashes Test between Australia and England. Australia have regained the Ashes, so the next 2 Test matches for England is all about pride and getting revived for the future Test matches and future Ashes series that is going to come, especially in England in the next year. So for England, the next 2 Test matches are pretty important. Even though the series is gone, they have to put up a good fight, at least draw a 1 or win one of the Test matches, if not lose both. So let's see what we have in store for the next Test match coming up in the Boxing Day at the MCG. So we will be there pre-match and post-match in the MCG Test match, talking about the 4th Test matches, about the possible team changes and what the performance will be like post-match. So stay tuned on Sportbits.com for more analysis, podcasts and articles, and do follow Sportbits on Twitter and like the Facebook page of Sportbits.com. Thanks a lot.